Samir, and first and foremost, I would like to congratulate you and your entire team for the 20 years of relentless work, research, contributing to public policy, thinking in various sectors. And I still remember, like way back in 2009-10, when the National E-Governance Plan was being set up, and we were trying to evangelize about what we know as Digital India now. The role Scotch played in spreading awareness about Digital India, about digital government, about e-governance, about importance of using technology for improving services, for ensuring that more and more stakeholders take part in that. So Scotch was one of the pioneers in working with MeitY in doing such events, in instituting awards, in socializing change. So big thanks, and it's really worthwhile to have such an institution having their 100th event today, which is a landmark, which is a milestone. Century hona hamesha badi baat hoti hai. And 20 years, the great congratulations to all of you. My fellow panelists on the panel, Rama Devi ji, Avasthi ji, it's indeed, we had a very interesting inaugural session in which we heard thoughts on inclusion. And when I was hearing to Bharat Lal sir and to Sanjay Kumar sir, I was just wondering what role technology can play in ensuring inclusion, what role Digital India can play. And why Digital India, why India is regarded as the capital of digital government, why India has become the cornerstone of digital public infrastructure the whole world is talking about. And then immediately the thought went out, like it has been our strength for a very, very long time. Like India has been regarded as the IT garage of the world. We have been providing services to almost all major countries in the world, developed countries, not only developing countries. So whether it's their banking systems, whether there is transportation systems, many of their systems are run by Indian companies. We have representatives from Tata's here, but whether it's TCS, whether it's Infosys, Wipro, several companies, they have been running their systems of the global major economies. We have been contributing not only through projects with implemented Indian companies, we've also been contributing talent which goes and works in the American companies. Many of them are heading the top tech companies as CEOs today. So we have been regarded very strongly when it comes to tech talent. If you look at like our this ITS sector, of the entire services exports that we have, it's like it constitutes almost 50% of our services export. And the value of the ITS exports that we have can be understood by the quantum of the exports that we have, almost $300 billion, is equivalent to the total oil exports of Saudi Arabia. So that's the value of our IT sector for India. Like Saudi Arabia is known for oil globally. Similarly, we are known for our capabilities in the tech sector. So given this, it was quite natural for government also to look at how we can leverage, when technology is helping transform businesses and countries globally, why can't we use technology for improving public services in India? And that was the genesis of the National E-Governance Plan, the Digital India program. And the first and foremost challenge that was felt was that how do we ensure that every Indian gets an identity, because identity becomes the core for getting any services. And that's how the Aadhaar project was conceptualized. We all here are an audience which knows the story, so I don't need to repeat it. But not only 1.4 billion biometric, unique, lifelong Aadhaar numbers have been given in India, but the bigger story is about the use of Aadhaar. Every day, 80 million biometric authentications happen with Aadhaar. And now they are doing faceless authentications also. So that ensures that people are able to not open bank accounts and get financial inclusion, access rations, access scholarships, pension. Multiple services are enabled through the identity that we have built in. The Honorable Prime Minister came up with the financial inclusion as a target around 10 years back. Using this biometric identity, we could open 510 million Jan Dhan accounts, which is bigger than the populations of many countries. Most big countries will not be this big, and such accounts were opened, and it was opened in a few years. In fact, there was a report of Bank of International Settlements way back in 2009, which said that if India is to achieve financial inclusion, if India is to reach a level wherein all Indians will have bank accounts, it will take almost 47 years to achieve that mark. And how many years did we actually take? Less than 9 years. So that's the potential of technology that has happened. Direct benefit transfers. It was used. Once people have unique identity and in your bank accounts linked to that Aadhaar number, you can do direct benefit transfers. So it was decided by the government to ensure that all benefits, whether it's subsidies, whether it's pensions, whether it's scholarships, will flow to the bank accounts directly without any leakage. Because earlier we had a system in which funds used to flow from Government of India to individual villages and individual, but the pipe was perforated and there will be a lot of leakages. But with this direct benefit transfers, we could transfer money directly into the bank accounts of people. And what has this resulted in? $33 billion of savings. Just savings. And during COVID, this was seen to be believed. Because when we had to transfer relief to people when lockdown had happened and people were at the verge of losing their livelihoods, we could transfer people money instantly into the bank accounts of people. And all money was accounted for. No issues therein. A country like the United States, they gave their COVID relief through paper checks and plastic cards. $400 billion. And they are till date not able to reconcile the accounts. Many deserving people are still waiting and many undeserving people have got the money. So that's the power of technology that we have been able to achieve, especially with a project like Aadhaar. And again, the Aadhaar was not, it was not that it was a government project only. It was a classic case of implementation of a project with participation of private sector. It was led by one of the top industry leaders, Mr. Nandan Nilekani. And it brought in a whole gamut of experts from the private sector, from the not-for-profit sector, and from the government. So everyone combined together to implement that project. And that classic model of implementation of a public, private and not-for-profit sector coming together to implement has been like one of the reasons, a trust-based partnership has been one of the reasons for success of most of our Digital India projects. The benefits of Aadhaar led to thinking of digital payments, because digital payments was a big challenge. Transferring money, how do we transfer money, how do we ensure that money can be released. UPI came in and today all of us use UPIs. We don't even blink an eye when we have to scan a QR code. Or when a street vendor also accepts money, he knows that when he sees the tick mark and when he hears 20 rupees प्राप्त हुए, he knows that it's as good as real money getting into his pocket. I'll give an example like how it impacts people and how it benefits the economy in the long run. I was last year, in fact, around the same time this season, I was in Khan Market and there was a street vendor who was selling pani puris. So I was having some chat there and I paid him 20 bucks through UPI. Immediately it said that Paytm box which is there, 20 rupees प्राप्त हुए, that voice came in. So I was seeing that box for the first time. So I asked him, ये क्या है? So he said that इससे हमको पता चल जाता है. I said, okay, very good. Then I generally asked him कि digital payment होने से आपको कोई फ़ायदा हुआ? Then he says that कि बड़ा आराम है. I said, कैसे? So he said, earlier when I used to serve pani puri to maybe customers standing there, it would take him around 3 to 4 minutes to service one customer. And when people used to pay him to accept the money and to give back the change, it would take another 2 to 3 minutes. He said, now I keep on serving my customers. They pay the money, I hear it, and it's done. So it's like he has become 100. My efficiency has gone up 80 to 90%. So that's a very small example, but that shows how such initiatives, such technology initiatives contribute to economy. Today, it's very easy, like people share with the mobile expansion, the data cost very low, people are able to share locations, they share time, they're able to transfer money, they're able to take decisions. So all of it incrementally contributes to building economy layer by layer. So that's the potential of projects like Aadhaar, UPI. I will again another mention like DigiLocker. Like Aadhaar ensured Aadhaar ensured faceless governance, when KYC could be done digitally. UPI ensured cashless governance. DigiLocker has brought in paperless governance. I'm sure most of you would be having DigiLocker accounts. We have 38 crore, 375 million, almost 38 crore DigiLocker users. growing at the rate of almost 2 lakh new accounts every day, and 8 billion documents being digitally verified, authenticated. So whether it's your Aadhaar, whether it's income tax, driving licenses, PAN card, or academic certificates, health records, all of it can be digitally accessed, digitally verified, creating a huge difference in the huge difference in the overall ease of living, ease of doing business. And now DigiLocker has come out with Entity Locker, wherein even organizations, companies, trusts, not-for-profit societies, they also can have DigiLocker accounts and their documents can be verified. So if you are registering a company, you don't need to submit your income tax returns in a PDF form. Even you don't need to upload it. It can be digitally verified. So that's the power of these projects that are being implementing. We saw how we were able to implement the vaccination program with the COVID portal that was implemented. Without it, it would have been virtually impossible to vaccinate 1.2 billion people. We forget what medicines we took last week, how to remember which vaccine we took and what is the time difference for the next dose. So all of it was enabled through this tech platform. So long and short of it is that, that Digital India has been transformational. It has been beneficial, it has benefited people, it has transformed lives, it has added to our national status. The whole world is looking into it. G20, it was recognized as the digital public infrastructure. The whole world wants it. They're looking at India to build up a global digital public infrastructure repository that can be replicated across. India has signed MOUs with around 16 countries for replication of DPIs in these countries. 7 countries have adopted UPIs. It's from something which began locally is becoming a global, it's become like a big value creator for India. And now, as Samir mentioned, like we are entering from the digital India era to the AI era. Artificial intelligence has started dominating all our conversations. AI has been around since long. The term was first coined in 1956. But 2 years back, November 2022, when ChatGPT came and OpenAI came and generative AI was productized, all of us kind of became AI users, and we could kind of see what a potential generative AI has. And since then, in the last 2 years, this whole sector has been like seen a transformational growth. Whole world is looking into it. India is also being a big player, in the sense that why are we strong there? Because just like we have an IT talent, similarly AI talent also we are regarded amongst the world's best. The Stanford AI Index report rates India as the #1 country when it comes to AI skill penetration. We have the maximum number of trained AI engineers. If you look at the GitHub projects, GitHub is a repository of most IT projects. The number of AI projects on GitHub, maximum projects are from India. So we have that potential, we have that talent, and we were like last year working on what more we need to do. So we had an extensive round of consultations with industry, with academia, with research bodies, and there were 6 working groups that were set up, and with that we came up with a blueprint of India AI mission. The teams identified what are the gaps in India's AI story, and accordingly the India AI mission was conceptualized, which is spread across 7 pillars. All these 7 pillars are kind of addressing the gaps that existed. First pillar, of course, is for the compute. How do we ensure that high-end compute is made available? We are spending almost $500 million on that. For that, we had floated a tender. We have got very good response. The last date was yesterday only, and we are evaluating them. And by January, compute will be available to all our researchers and to startups for using to build AI-based solutions. The second key pillar was AI-based applications. For that, we floated 14 problem statements, and we have got almost 900 entries, and those applications, use cases, will be deployed nationally after an evaluation. Currently, the evaluations are going on, and we'll see several AI use cases in the field of healthcare, agriculture, climate change, education, learning disabilities, governance that will be deployed. Amitabh is sitting there, and Bhashini has been one of the use cases, how Bhashini is transforming the way we interact with each other, the way we do voice-based services. So AI applications will be one big thing under India AI mission. The third pillar is about the datasets platform. We are building up an India datasets platform that will ensure availability of datasets for training models or building solutions. So that is critical for any AI application. 3 things are required: skills, compute, datasets. Skills we have, compute we are providing, and datasets. Data also, we have a lot of data, but to organize it and make it AI usable, the datasets platform is being built up. The fourth key pillar is about the future skills. How do we ensure that skilling advantage remains? So we have fellowships at all levels for engineering, for undergrad students, for graduate students, postgraduate students, and also for research scholars. We're also setting up data labs across the country for ensuring that we are able to train youth in ITIs and polytechnics to become data scientists, data annotators, data analysts, so that the jobs are created in the hinterland. Then we have another vertical in the India AI mission, which is focusing on startups. We have almost around $200 million to invest in startups, to provide funding support to startups when they need the most, at the pre-seed stage, at the seed stage, and the growth stage. Then we also have a program to build India's foundational model, India's LLM. We are currently using the foundational models which have been developed in the West. Very often they are biased, they have trained on Western data sets. It's important to build solutions within India. And towards that, we are trying to work with research institutions to set up a group which can build an Indian foundational model. And last but not the least is the focus on building safe, trustworthy, and responsible AI. For that, we have funding available, and we have taken up several projects in research institutions to build up tools and frameworks to detect algorithmic bias, to do machine learning, to ensure that whatever solutions are there are subjected to the responsible AI frameworks. We are also working very closely with the state governments. Ramadevi Lankaji is here. Telangana has a big program. Telangana has a lead amongst most states when it comes to their AI plan. They had, like a couple of years back, they had declared a year of AI. And Telangana is investing a lot in AI city and trying to build up AI compute infrastructure. We are working very closely with them. Similarly, we are working with other state governments like Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, who are all taking up AI projects. So in the days to come, we will see a lot of AI. And as we say, India AI will sit on top of the DPI layer. So it will make that all public services that were enabled through DPIs, whether it's eSanjeevani for telemedicine or Diksha for learning, they will have an AI layer wherein voice-enabled services will be made possible through the provision of AI. So we are looking at an era wherein DPI to the power of AI. It's not DPI plus AI. It's India stack raised to the power of artificial intelligence. And that would be the true transformational potential. It will make services more inclusive. It will ensure that we bridge the digital divide. It will enable voice-enabled services, just like we talk to an Alexas and Siris and Google Assistants to play music. We'll be able to ask, a farmer will be able to ask, कि आगरे मंडी में बाजरे की कीमत क्या है, या मुझे B पॉजिटिव ब्लड ग्रुप कहाँ मिलेगा, या स्कॉलरशिप के लिए कैसे अप्लाई करें. So in various languages, and you will get back the reply in voice. Amitabh is working towards that, Bhashini is working towards that, and we are working on to make this voice layer, make this AI layer work on top of the public services that we enable through India Stack, and ensure that we are truly able to benefit from the technology revolution that we are living in. We are also globally, in fact, I'll just add one last point before I conclude, is that when it comes to artificial intelligence, we are also part of the global frameworks that are evolving regarding regulation of AI. India's approach always has been innovation driven, because that's where our strength lies. We are there to ensure that misuse of AI is restricted. Use of AI for creating deep fakes, misinformation that can be a threat to democracy is restricted. We are the chair of the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence. We have been working with the global community to come out with a responsible AI framework, a governance framework, which ensures that all AI models and solutions that are developed conform to the ethical principles, ensure development of safe and trustworthy AI. So we have a role to play globally also. So just like our DPI story is being recognized world over, we are set to become the AI use case capital of the world, and any solutions that will be developed in India using artificial intelligence will have applications across the world. So with this, I would like to conclude and once again congratulate Samir for taking up this initiative, and hope that whatever he has been asking me to write a chapter for a long, long time, but the sector is such, the chapter keeps on expanding, growing, there are always new things happening. But hopefully one day we'll be able to do that. So thank you once again for having me over, and congratulations for your